Hey guys, I don't think there's anybody who's going to join, but I thought I was just filming a video, would you believe? 1 in a million thing. I was just filming a video and I thought I'll go live and see if anyone's got any questions. I don't know what time it is in other countries at the moment, so there might not be anyone online. Right now, this is like the middle of a work day for the UK, but I thought, well, I'll come on and if there is any questions, then great. And if there isn't, I can always delete the video. Also, I apologise if there's any barking. It's extremely windy and the dogs will, oh, they're playing now. But yeah, are you looking? It's extremely windy and so the dogs sometimes bark if something falls over or whatever. Hi, welcome. Yeah, so I thought I'd just pop on live while I was already set up to do a video. And if you've got any Dachshund related questions, then pop them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. I've never done a live on my phone before, so I could miss the questions, but I saw the hi come up at the bottom, so I'm assuming I can see them. But how are you all? It's been a very long time. I have not done a video in so long. Elsa's on my knee here. If you didn't already know, we moved house. We got married. We've got the puppy. What else has happened? I don't know, but Elsa really wants to sniff the phone. I don't know why. Eva's here as well. Hi, Laura. Yeah, if you've got any questions, Dachshund related, my dog related, then let me know. I've just shot a video about littermate syndrome, which I'll edit in a minute and put it up after this live. Can you stop chewing her? Yeah, that's my first video in like 5 months. So ultimately, I've been very slacking on the video front because business has been so busy. What's the puppy's name and how old is he? It's not a he. I don't know where he is. She is. Oh, I just called her a he. Norma, she's 7 months and she is a female, not a male. And she is down here playing and I don't want to interrupt her because if she wants to tire herself out, then she can. How do I like look at all of the comments when I'm on a phone? Is there a way? Or do I just have to see them as they pop up? Live chat. Oh, here they are. Got ya. Do you let your dogs jump? I do, yes, I let them jump. It'd be impossible to stop them with this many of them. So if you didn't know, I have 6 Dachshunds and they very much like to jump up on and off the sofa, and stopping 6 Dachshunds from doing that is virtually impossible. I do have a ramp up to the sofa, which they use most of the time, and up to our bed. But if they jump, they jump. You know, they're all very physically fit. I think if they were overweight, I'd be more cautious, but they are really physically fit. So, as you can see by the climbing around. So I just let them do what they want to do. And I think that they're very strong. And so, yeah, I don't have an issue with it. How do I just have all the chats up all the time? My sausage jumps like a kangaroo. That's what I mean. You're not going to stop them. You are not going to stop them. When they want to jump, they'll jump. One has just jumped up here, just then. You want to come up as well? Oh, we're getting a right little crew. This is Nemo. Nemo has 3 legs. Look how cute he is. I can't keep the live chat up and I really want to just keep it up so that I can scroll through it. But yeah, if you've got any Dachshund related questions, pop them in, because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to talk about. But yeah, so I've just done a video on littermate syndrome, which will go up in a minute, so I don't need to talk about that because I've got a video on it. We've been doing loads of Dachshund events. I'm releasing this jumper soon. This is a large, by the way, that's why it looks massive. I really wanted a long one to wear with leggings, but it's not out yet. What's your fave thing about a Dachshund? Good question. I like their loyalty. I think that's my favourite thing. Yeah, they're extremely loyal. Like, you know when they like someone. Whereas some dogs are just really nice to everyone. Dachshunds are only nice to like specific people. And I quite like that I know that they love me. That's so silly. Yeah, they're extremely loyal. And they also work as a breed very well in a pack. So like multiple. Whereas there's some breeds that do better just being on their own. They work really well together, and I always knew I wanted multiple dogs and not just one. So for me, that works really well as well. I hope that answers that one for you. I keep having to touch the show the chat thing. I just want it to stay there. Do you notice any difference in the personality between the short head and the long head? Absolutely, they're very different. So Eva is, I would say, the neediest. Eva's the smooth, wherever she is. She's down here. She's far more needy. She's more temperamental. Like, she loves people, but then she'll suddenly not love someone. She doesn't give great signals. She's very temperamental, very needy. Doesn't like to go out in the rain, so has to physically be like pushed to go to the toilet in the rain. She was just harder to train in general. Sorry, Eva, I'm being really horrible about you. I find the long hairs for me are more obedient. They're just slightly more calm. Yeah, she's much harder work for me. And the smooths that I've looked after as well are much harder work. And in rescue, we get a lot more smooths. But some people would say that's because more smooths exist. That's why the percentage is up. But yeah, we very rarely get long hairs in for anything to do with obedience or aggression. Whereas the smooths, yeah. Sorry, that's probably not what you wanted to hear if you like the smooths. Next question, did you have any dogs growing up? I did, but not little dogs. I had border collies growing up, which are one of the most obedient, I think they are the most obedient breed that exists. And my first ever dog that I got as an adult was not a Dachshund, it was a miniature pinscher. So yeah, Dachshunds were not on the cards until I got Elsa, and then now I'm addicted. But yeah, I did grow up with dogs, and we had litters of puppies as well, so we always had little dogs around, and that's why maybe I've got an addiction. Next question, Laura, I'm still trying to toilet train my 2 5-year-olds. I'm in wet weather only. I have to throw treats into the garden during winter, normal. Personally, I wouldn't turn... So here's the thing. Dogs don't like to toilet where they eat. That's just fact. They don't like to go to the toilet where they eat. They don't like to go to the toilet where they sleep. And so by throwing food where you're expecting them to go to the toilet could confuse things quite a bit as well. I appreciate where you're getting that from and the idea of it gets them out the door. But I personally would go outside with them, put a raincoat on, take them to their spot, give them their cue word and stand there till they go. And obviously as they're adults, they can hold it for longer. So that becomes difficult because it's a bit more difficult to time than when they're puppies. But you just have to go back to complete basics, taking them out every hour and going out there physically with them, closing the door behind you, put your coat on, and until they go, none of you are going back indoors. And we still do that to this day. Like, our dogs are pretty house trained, but if they're being stubborn about going outside because it's torrential weather, I put my coat on, I put my boots on, and I go outside because I know they need to go. Because another thing when they're adults is that you tend to get a natural idea of when they need to go. Like, I know that I haven't taken them out in a couple of hours and they probably do need to go, but they're holding it because it's bad weather. So yeah, you've got to go out there with them. I think throwing food out there would just confuse things for them and is probably slightly undoing your training because you're putting food where you're expecting them to toilet, which they don't like. So yeah, I hope that helps. Please go back and watch my toilet training video because although it's mostly focused on puppies, really it's all the exact same when you're house training an adult, and I've house trained loads of adult dogs, and yeah. Connie says, no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I've only had smooths and was wondering if long haired were as hard as smooths. How on earth does this woman have 6 lols? So it's confirmed I'm not crazy. They, yeah, they are slightly easier, but they're hard work dogs. Dachshunds are hard work. It doesn't matter if they're smooth, long wire. They are a hard work breed. But they do work well in packs. So I like having them because they work well in a group. But yeah, they're a hard work dog. It doesn't matter which hair you get. Laura, they often have a wee and sneak back in for a poo. Great advice. Yeah, no, Evie, when we got her, was 3, so I had to house train her at 3. She had lived outdoors, so we had to start from basics. Dee Dee, who sadly passed away in October, we had her for 4 years. We got her when she was already 12. And the guy had not house trained any of his dogs. We got her from a situation where he had hoarded dogs, so he had loads of them. None of them were house trained. They were all dramatically overweight. He was sort of killing them with kindness a bit. And she, at first, was on medication for anxiety that he had put all of his dogs on because they weren't getting enough interaction. So they'd become really anxious and he couldn't go to work. They would all you know, go mental and he'd get complaints and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, we got her off the medication straight away by just going back to basics with the training, separation training, and the house training as well. And she was, I've never met a dog so house trained. I mean, she would hold it if I forgot to take her out. But we just went literally straight back to basics, like you've got a puppy. Watch the video. I promise it helps. Oh, I just saw another chat come up. Is it important to keep breakfast at a consistent time? We get up at different times, different days, and our little man, 14 weeks, generally wakes up when we do. I don't think it is, because I think that in itself is a routine. So if your dog starts to learn that breakfast is flexible, then they'll learn that breakfast is flexible. And if dinner is more routine, then fine. Yeah, I don't think so. I think ours, especially if it's cold, and obviously the clocks change and all that lot, ours get thrown off all the time, and it doesn't really make an effect on their general like energy levels or obedience or anything like that. I think obviously sticking to the amount of food they should be eating. So if you give them breakfast too early and they don't eat it, put it back down at lunch. Because sometimes they don't want to eat, do they, if it's too early. So if you've got work really early that day and you're thinking, oh, they're not eating. But otherwise, I think that would be their routine. They get flexible with certain parts of their routine, and other parts of their routine will be strict. I hate having to press this button every time. Are Dachshunds a good dog for people who've never had a dog before? Absolutely not. They are probably the worst dog you could get if you've never had a dog before. I talk on a daily basis to probably, I couldn't even tell you, 20 people at a time who message me saying, you know, I've done loads of research, I'm getting my first Dachshund and I'm really excited. I've watched all your videos. This is my first dog. I've never had a family pet. Like I don't really, you know, but I've done so much research. And then they get the puppy and Lord knows 4 weeks later, they'll message me and they'll say, I've been trying to do everything right and it's all going wrong. I think through owning dogs, you get a more natural instinct and management to their behavior. So when I talk about the best ways to do something, I'm also talking about being patient at the same time. And I think when it's your first dog, you haven't quite got that patience yet. I think all dogs are hard as a first dog anyway, but Dachshunds in specific, with the complete lack of obedience, can be very, very stressful for a first-time dog owner. I'm very lucky they weren't my first dog, and I think my second dog, so my first dog was super easy, Prada, very easy. Second dog was very hard work, and that meant that my Dachshund seemed very easy because my second dog was such hard work. And since that, it's just been about managing my patience, basically. I think if you go into it and you are super realistic, no matter how much you research, no matter how much you look up the best ways to do things, you're gonna have, it's gonna be a roller coaster. Things will go wrong no matter how well you do it. They might end up not being the dog that you were expecting. You might need a lot more patience than you were expecting. I think if you go into it realistically, but I think a lot of people go into it thinking, if I do the most research, it will go great. And that's just not how it goes. Every dog is very different. Back to the chat. I missed the beginning of the live. Was there a reason you quit posting videos, or are you on a different platform? I didn't quit posting videos, I'm just lazy. No, I'm not. What happened is Nemo and Crew, my business that I sell little Dachshund clothes and things like that, went so busy that I literally work 9 till 9 every day, and I've just not had time to do a video. So I've just done a video because it's Christmas, I've got a bit of time off. I've just done a video that I'm going to post. And I do the vlog type videos like once every 2 months because they're a bit more easy because I don't have to set everything up and I can just sort of film a day. But I'm not sure people like those as much. But if you do like them, then I'll do them more. So let me know. But yeah, no, I didn't give up posting. I just haven't had time, which is terrible. I'm so sorry. Next question. I have my little Dachshund puppy. What do I do if they keep biting my hair and hands? I have a video on puppy biting on my channel, and it explains it probably far better than I'll explain it right now, but I'll try. So the best thing for anything puppy biting is to divert the attention to something else. So for example, a toy, but try and pick a toy that's very long. So I've got these like long rope toys and things so that they can't get anywhere near your hands. And if they start to creep up the toy towards your hand, you swap hands. So you put the toy in the other hand. Other things you can do is work out why they're trying to bite you. So sometimes they'll bite you because they need the toilet, or sometimes they'll bite you because they're hungry, or sometimes they'll bite you because they're overtired and they need rest. There's various reasons why they might be doing that. So try and work out, have they been to the toilet recently? Have you been playing with them loads and they might just need somewhere to settle down? Are they due their lunch? And if none of that is a fact and they are just bored, then play with them, give them loads of attention, turn it into training if they've got loads of energy. So go and get some treats, turn it into training. All of that is in my puppy biting video. That was just a very fast version of it. I hope that helps. Sorry, I keep having to lean so close to you. Yeah, I like your videos, they're really good. Oh, thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah, I'm really sorry I haven't done any videos. I did just do one and it was so awkward. I'm much better at lives. They're so much easier because I can just ramble on and people don't mind. Oh, and one more thing. Go ahead. You don't have to give one more thing, by the way. You can give as many more things as you like. If anyone's got any questions, please do not feel afraid to comment them. No question is too silly. What do I do if she doesn't finish the right amount of food? So what I tend to do is keep an eye on their weight. And if you think they're of decent weight, don't worry about it. So keep an eye on their like general body. Do they look skinny? Can you see their ribs? Can you see their spine? If you can't and they look a good weight, don't worry about it. Every dog uses different amounts of energy and needs different amounts of food. If you think they're starting to lose weight, then add whatever they missed to their next meal, or if you've cut their meals down to say 3 meals a day, go back up to 4. Is that making sense? So that they still get the right amount of food. A lot of dogs will be self-regulating, so they might be eating less because they don't need it. Yeah, hope that helps. Is there ever a time when you would say no, or would you always divert? I would never say no because I just don't think they know what that means. I think it's like when they're a puppy especially, they have no idea what you're talking about. So it's not really training them not to do it. So no. Sometimes if I don't have anything to hand, or they're playing with someone in my house, like I've got a visitor and I'm thinking they're getting over the top, I might initially go to just distract them and then go and divert their attention so that the word or the cue means stop what you're doing. But I'll always reward that stop. So if I use the and they stop, I'll reward it so that it becomes a cue rather than just a random word. Because as I say, dogs don't know no and yes until they're trained what no and yes is. But I feel like no is just it's quite a flat word anyway, isn't it? I like things to be quite sharp. So like, yes, enough, you know, that sort of thing. How are the dogs finding the new house? How are they finding the new house? They love it. We've got so much more room, room for activities. We've now got a dining living room, which is like double the size of our old living room. So they play a lot. We're also in a much quieter area, so we have nothing behind us other than fields. So they can chill in the garden a lot more, which before we would never have allowed them to be in the garden, just like chillaxing, because there's too much hustle and bustle where we lived. People walked behind the path all the time, so we'd have to be out there like with them, and then we'd end up bringing them back in because they'd just be too stressed. But here they can just sunbathe and I can see them from the living room. So that works really well, because the other thing is in the other house I couldn't see them in the garden from the living room, so I'd have to physically go out. Yeah, so they love it. We love it. We have left them, but it took a long time because we hadn't actually left them at home alone since we got Nemo, because we were too scared that Nemo would jump off something and break his other leg, or I don't know, probably dramatic, but we were scared. But now we've started leaving them. We've got CCTV in the rooms and they're good as gold, so that's good. Pumpkin Becky, Katie and Darcy flatly refused to do any business when we took them away overnight. They waited until we were home 18 hours later. I mean, if they can hold it, they can hold it. Sometimes I'll go away for an event and the toilets will be really far away from my stall, you know, like my business stall, and I'll hold it for a whole day. I think, yeah, sometimes it's very vulnerable going to the toilet for a dog, so they might have just felt a bit more too vulnerable. I think as you take them away more and more, they'll get used to it. They'll get used to settling in new places. Jenny, my little guy has been really sleepy for 2 days since we got home from traveling. He's normally pretty hyper. At what point do I get worried that something's wrong other than just being tired? I think as long as they're eating and drinking, then tiredness is fine. I can't remember how long you said it had been. 2 days. Yeah, mine are knackered after we've been away. It is such a overload of senses, new smells, new sounds, new, you know, everything. So mine are absolutely knackered when we get back. So I don't think I would panic about it. If they're eating their meals and, you know, drinking, then there's nothing to worry about. But if you start to see it as more of them being lethargic, so moving slowly, not wanting to eat, seeming maybe depressed, then I'd maybe go to the vets and get checked. If they're fine otherwise, then don't panic. Training my puppy 10 weeks is hard when he's so hyper. I work from home, so I walk for 40-50 minutes every morning with him. And the moment I take out a treat, he goes nuts. Do you know what? When you work from home, you tend to underestimate or overestimate? You tend to overestimate how much interaction you're actually giving them, because the interaction might include something like chucking them a toy or letting them out to the toilet. Things like that have to be done. And so I think that you, overestimate how much interaction you're actually giving them. And so it's really good to split up your day and set yourself a little alarm and do just 10 to 15 minutes worth of training, and also teaching them to settle on their own, but try and work out if they're actually getting that much interaction or not. And also, if they're a bit nuts when they're training, that's fine. Don't overdo it. They could just be overtired. I'm just having a look now, and you said he's 10 weeks, so 40 to 50 minutes is way too long for a walk. Way, way, way too long for a walk. At 10 weeks old, you should be going for a walk for about 15 minutes max and coming home. So firstly, stop doing those long walks. That's not helping you. It's just way, way, way too long. Go for 15 minutes, come back, and leave them alone. And then do training half an hour later. Yeah, because you'll be creating that hype, I'm telling you. My pup is 11 weeks. She is going off 4 meals a day. Is it best to drop to 3? Do you leave the food down or put it out fresh? I do not leave the food down. I will pick it up after a certain amount of time if they're ignoring it, and I will put it back down a couple of hours later. So if they're going off 3 meals, cut it down to 3 if they'll eat them. If the difference is that what's actually happening is that they're not eating they've got 4 meals, but they're not eating the full amount, then cut the meals down, not the amount of meals down. Where are we? Never apologise for not posting. We're all humans and have lives. It was more a curiosity than a complaint. Don't worry, I didn't see it as a complaint. You seem very active and take your dogs on outings and all, so no one thinks you're lazy. I mean, yeah, I'm busy, but it could be considered lazy if you're just a YouTube subscriber. We've moved and have a grapevine in the garden. No grapes, just the vine. Should we get rid of it? I would, yeah. Easy answer. I'd get rid of it. Get rid of anything that creates risk, which obviously it could create risk in the future, so I'd get rid of it. Connie, I think you may have made a video on it, but is there a way to get a dog that was previously pad trained to start going outside? Yeah, get rid of the pads and start fresh. Don't try moving them outside, nothing like that. So Norma, when we got her, was pad trained. She took a lot longer to house train because she was pad trained up to 4 months, and that made it way more difficult. We didn't even bring a pad into this house. No pads. We just started her training fresh from the get-go. So yeah, go back to my toilet training video, get rid of the pads and start completely from scratch, which is a long story, so just watch that video because otherwise I'll be yammering on. Jess, my 2-year-old male humps his stuffed animal a lot to the point of bleeding. Oh no, how can I stop this? He gets his moments where that's all he wants to do. Can you distract it onto something else? Can you get rid of the stuffed toy, for one? Get rid of all stuffed toys. Does he need them? If they're not causing any benefit, get rid of them. Swap them for something else. And when he's doing it, try and distract him with something better than what he's doing. So if humping the toy, if something better is chicken or cheese, distract him, go and do a bit of training in the kitchen, take the toy away quickly, go back to normal business. But yeah, if it's not causing a benefit and a negative, I'd just get rid of it, personally. Best advice to stop biting as she is teething. I touched on this earlier, Tony. I've got a video on biting, but the best advice is work out why they're biting first and then create what you're going to do in return to that. But I have got a video on it and I touched on it at the beginning of this video. So when I post this, because I usually post it for like a little bit, when I post it, go back and watch it. Because I don't want to yammer on the same question and annoy anyone. I'm already annoying enough. Finding it really hard to crate train my Dachshund. Do you have any tips? I've got loads of tips on crate training and I've got a video on crate training. It depends what your main issue is. Have you followed my crate training video? If you haven't, go and check it out and start from scratch. And if you have and you're still having issues, let me know what they are and I'll answer them specifically. Honey cake. Is okay for Charlie, 14 weeks on Friday, to sleep on my pillow overnight if she can't handle being on the floor with her bed, as my bed is very high up? She can sleep wherever she wants. If you're happy to have your dog in your bed, have it in your bed. It doesn't matter. You know, we have some of our dogs sleep in our bed, some of them don't. They swap because we don't mind. We like them being in the bed, if anything. Yeah, but some people don't like that. If you like her being in your bed, have her in your bed. People will go, oh, well, they'll get separation anxiety if you let them sleep in your bed. Nonsense. Nonsense. Doesn't exist. That's not why dogs get separation anxiety. So if you want them in your bed, have them in your bed. One more question. I am getting good at teaching my Doxy pup to sit. He's catching on. What commands do you recommend after I get him good at sitting? So I've got another video. Sorry, I'm just going. I've got a video. I've got a video on my like 5 favourite commands. But I think really important ones, sit, like you say. I think watch is a very important command, and it basically is just asking your dog for eye contact. That's a really brilliant command to have because it comes in so handy. Another command that I like to teach is drop, or drop it, leave it. You can put it as wherever you like. It's a really good command for if they get something in their mouth that they shouldn't have in their mouth. And the way that you teach it is you give them something like a ball and then you swap the ball for something else by saying drop it. Yeah. So I've got a video on that though. So go and watch it. Meant to message you, but what dog bag carrier do you use? I've got a few. Some of them are like the shoulder ones where their head sticks out here, and then I've got a front rucksack that Nemo goes in that's got his little head sticking out here. I can't remember where they're from. But as long as it's not a rucksack where they have to sit like this, you're fine. So as long as they can lie down, which both of those he can. If you send me a message on Instagram, I'll send you the links. I'll go and find them. But right now I have no idea what they're called. And they're not here. They're in the van. My dog hates the cart and constantly whines when he's in it due to anxiety. We've tried distracting him with treats. What would you recommend? There's a couple of different things. What is he in or on in the car? Is he in a crate? Is he on a booster? Firstly, answer that and then I'll come back to you. So how is he in the car? What's he on in the car? Why do dogs get separation anxiety? Loads of different reasons. Usually, very often, separation anxiety is caused by the human trying to force separation when the dog is too young. So a lot of people will get a 8-week-old puppy and they go, right, I don't want you to be clingy. I don't want you to have separation anxiety. So they leave it for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes straight away. That doesn't work. You've moved a puppy to a home it has no trust in. It knows no one, doesn't trust you, knows nothing about the area. And by leaving it, all you are teaching them is not to trust you. So that does not help avoid separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is usually because, as I say, you force separation on them too early. So Nemo has never been left in his... I'm getting a cuddle right now. Hello. Nemo's never been left until recently. He's 2 years old. So if this having to force them to be separated early on is a thing, then how come when I left him at 2 years old, he just went to sleep? Because he trusts me. We've got that bond. He trusts me. They organically create separation as they get more confident, as they get older. So if you just let them organically take that, it doesn't exist, separation anxiety, in my opinion, when you do it that way. I've just not got that. And as I say, we did the same with Dee Dee when she was 12 years old and we took her on. She was medicated for separation anxiety. We took her off the medication. We did the training as we usually do it. And we didn't just leave her. We let her bond with us. We let her get used to the pack. And then we left her for short bursts of time and we came back. I've got a video on it though. You can go and watch for the actual training. Some dogs are just more anxious, by the way. Like, they're just more anxious in general, and separation anxiety is then they're going to be prone to it, and it's a lot more difficult to stop. But yeah, the worst thing you can do is try leaving them. Oh look, show chat. Right, here we go. There's a show chat button, so maybe I don't have to keep pressing it. Have I missed anything? No. Wes, thank you. I haven't seen that video of yours. I'll go and have a look. Thank you for answering my questions. No problem at all. Ali, how do you teach watch? You put the treat in front of your eyes and you say watch, and they look at the treat. You reward the treat. You put the treat in front of your eyes. You say watch. They look at the treat. You reward the treat. You don't put the treat in front of your eyes. You say watch. They look. They've learned to look here. They look. You give them the treat. You then extend how long you ask them to watch for. So you say watch. Keep eye contact. Keep eye contact. Yes. I hope that helps. That's a very fast version. Have you done a video on recall? Can you train dogs together as brother and sister joined at hip? I have not done a video on recall. That's something I should do a video on. I have just done a video on having a brother and sister though. You're gonna have issues probably with recall if you try to train them together. So you do need to do it separately, 100%. I haven't done a video on recall. I would say that if you're trying to focus on recall, get a long line as a primary. So a long line is like a 30-meter lead, really long one. Go somewhere quiet, keep calling them back and reward them. Try not to call them back via their name. Try to call them back via a command. So you can say their name to get their attention. So I could say Fenty come, and he could come, and I could reward him. Try to do it randomly. Don't just do it when you need them to come. Do it around the house. Do it in the garden, and then take it outdoors on a long line. Always make sure that the reward is getting higher and higher. Try not to start on your best reward, especially at home. If you're at home teaching it, it's a lot easier. So use rewards that are slightly lower so that the rewards that you take outside are the best they could get. Yeah, and if they start getting bored of a certain reward, change it to something else. But yeah, start on a long line. You could also hire a field. You can hire private fields and then get rid of the long line and try that. But go through stages. And as I say, don't keep calling them back just when you need them. Call them back randomly. Because otherwise they start to learn that the only time you call them back is when something bad's about to happen or someone's coming. Oh my gosh, loads more questions. So Molster, you were talking about in the car, weren't you? And you say they sleep on a bed. Okay, I would say that maybe they don't feel confined enough. Try a booster seat as a primary or a crate as a primary to change that thing. And what you want to go and do is get a booster seat, which is basically a seat that sits on the back of the seat that they can see out the window, and put them in the seat. So take them out of the house, put them in the seat, give them a treat to take them back in the house. Don't always go for a drive. And then go for short drives just down the lane and back. Try not to create too much routine around being in that seat. So yeah, get a booster seat, start fresh on that, come out of the house, put them in the seat, reward them, take them out. Get them in the seat, turn the engine on, turn the engine off, get out. Do you see what I mean? So you're starting to create that every time you get in that seat, we don't go for a drive where you're anxious. Sometimes you're just going to go there for something nice. And so they don't get that preemptive anxiety of like, oh my God, I'm in the car. And then drive 5 minutes, drive 10 minutes. Their body gets more used to it. They don't get that pre-anxiety, which is usually what creates the nausea. I hope that helps. Do your dogs growl at other dogs? No, they bark. They don't really growl. They growl at each other sometimes when they don't want to do something, but I don't mind them doing that if that's what they want to do. I prefer a dog that growls than a dog that bites. I don't tell them off for it. If they did growl at another dog, it's because the dog's too close. So I'd tell the other dog to go away. But no, they bark at dogs like you wouldn't believe. But it's usually that they're just telling me, there's a dog over there. And I'm like, I know, I can see, I'm not blind. But no, they don't really growl at other dogs. And as I say, if they were growling at a dog, it's because it's too bloody close to me and it needs to back off. If I leave my puppy alone for 1 minute, she cries. What can I do so I can go to the bathroom in peace? Don't push it. Your puppy, I think you said, how old did you say it was? 11 weeks, 14 weeks, 10 weeks? Can't remember now. It's very young. Don't push it. If it wants to follow you to the toilet, let it follow you to the toilet. As it gets older, as I say, it will organically leave you alone. It won't want to bother to get out of its bed, especially once it's going on walks and doing training and whatever else. It organically moves away. So yeah, don't push it. So when I left my 2-month-old puppy alone at home when I went to the doctor or grocery shopping, I have caused it. Can I have a question? How to teach my dog not to pee on the floor, but on at a toilet? So if your puppy was 2 months old, that means it's 8 weeks old and you left it alone. Yeah, to be honest with you, it's terrible. But until they've been with you for a couple weeks, you really just cannot leave them for a long period of time. And it's a pain in the bottom because yeah, sometimes you need to go to the doctor or go grocery shopping or whatever, but you've sort of got to preempt. So what I like to say to people is take 2 weeks off of life when you get a puppy, pre-stock up your fridge, get all the dog food you need, get yourself set up for those 2 weeks where they can't go for walks because they're not vaccinated, and work with bonding with your puppy. Things like just stepping outside of the door, giving them a treat and stepping outside the door and coming back in. Things like that, so that it's not just, welcome to your new home, bye, you know? Create that bond, and the best way to bond with a dog is through training. So yeah, take 2 weeks off. Oh, Ruben's asking for water, wait a minute. Sorry, Ruben, terrible mother. Okay. You've been keeping them company, dogs? Sorry, Ruben was asking for water. Yeah, so I always say when you get a puppy, take 2 weeks off life. Then you can get their house training down, you can get their general obedience down. But if you try leaving them straight away, it does cause, usually, anxiety. How to teach my dog not to pee on the floor, but on a toilet. I take her out every day, but sometimes it's not enough. When you say on a toilet, do you mean like a pad? Let me know what you mean by that, sorry. Darcy does have a nasty habit of eating poo. We have watched her like a hawk. Any ideas? The only way you can stop a dog from eating poo... You want to get down and go and have a drink? Go on then. The only way you can stop a dog from eating poo is by clearing it up straight away. And if you can't clear it up straight away, then they're going to eat poo. It's the only way you can stop it. If they eat poo on walks and you're worried about the fact that they're eating other dogs' poo, then you're going to have to muzzle them. So that they can't eat stuff on walks, but I'm sure you probably mean her own or stuff in your house. Have you tried anxiety blankets or jackets? What's your opinion? I think that you can get like anxiety jackets that wrap them in a certain way, and I think there's probably some fact in that working. And anything that reduces anxiety, just takes the edge off, can be helpful. So yeah. Worth a try. I just don't think thinking of them as a resolution is helpful, but I think thinking of them alongside training to just give them that extra chance of it working, why not? Why not? Have I missed any questions? Don't think so. These dogs, they're chewing behind me, each other. Evie's going, mother. My daughter's chewing me. Let me have a look at that again. It is a flat dog toilet I bought with a pad. Do you not have a garden then? I'm assuming you don't have a garden. Maybe you live in a flat. Ooh, so you can't take them out every whatever. So what I tend to say to people is that if you've got a flat and you can't, there's no safe space for them to go to the toilet during the day, or maybe you work and you don't have time to go down, then your best bet is to create a fake toilet. And for most dogs, a toilet will be outside of their bedroom. So for me, my house is their bedroom, yeah? So I don't want them to go to the toilet here. This is where they live. Dogs naturally will not want to toilet where they sleep, where they eat, where they live, right? And so you have to create a separate area that is their bathroom. So what I tend to say is create your own garden. So when you toilet train, usually what you would do is you would actively every hour go out into your back garden, close the door behind you, wait until they go to the toilet, and then bring them back in. And obviously cue them, etc. So go and watch my toilet training video. The only difference is you need to create a garden. So what you might want to do is baby gate your bathroom. Put their toilet in your bathroom, baby gate it, and actively every hour, Prada, can you stop digging my blanket, please? Do you just burp? every hour, it's so funny, every hour, actively open the baby gate, go into the toilet room, close the baby gate behind you and say, go wee wee, or whatever your cue word is, and treat and reward them or say well done when they go. Yeah? So do the toilet training in my video the exact same, but if you don't have a garden, make one. So get your little toilet pad, whatever you want to use, put it in your bathroom or your kitchen or an area that you can create a like a baby gate type situation, and actively take them there, give them the cue word, keep putting them back on, and when they go, give them loads of like ways. Yeah, I hope that helps. But go and watch my toilet training video, but add that to it. My pup is also crying in the car, but we have tried the bed, the crate and a dog booster seat. What can I do? It's not that easy, so you can't just keep changing what they have in the car. Especially if they're a puppy, you haven't stuck to one of them long enough. So that isn't the thing that creates the difference. So what I'm saying is what they are on presently, swap for something else to make it a new experience. So if they're currently on a bed, swap it to a booster and take them out to the booster seat, put them in the car, reward them, take them back out again. Put them in the car, close the door, open the door, reward them, take them back out again. Put them in the car, sit in the front. You just wanted to get down. Do you want to come back up again? Do you see what I mean? So what you're doing is you're saying that every time you get in the car, you don't need to worry that we're going to drive somewhere. Because usually what it is that they have an association with driving places, whether that be that they don't like the going places or they don't like the feeling of a vehicle. There'll be something to do with the car that makes them anxious. Sometimes it will be that their only experience of being in a car was being taken from their mum. So they've now got negative association with it, so they whine. Sometimes it can be that they just feel sick over the feeling of the car. But what usually happens is that they're whining before you've even set off because they've got this anxiety, this like pre-anxiety to going in the car. So what you have to do is reset that. So new thing, so if you're on a bed, move it to a booster. If you're on a booster, move it to a crate, whatever. And just put them in it, reward them, take them out. Put them in it, reward them, take it out. So you could do that 3 times a day, yeah? So not every time you're going to go anywhere. I have to come off it soon because I'm getting voice notes from people that I need to listen to. Is there any benefits from crate training? Absolutely. So Dachshunds are prone to a back issue called IVDD, which is basically where the discs degenerate in their back. And they can get slip discs, exploding discs, and a lot of the time they will need a lot of rest. So that sometimes the remedy to it will be to rest, and that then the spine fuses naturally and heals itself, or they'll have to have an operation. Either way, they're probably going to have to rest for 6 weeks. And if they've never been in a crate before, they're going to be very stressed. Whereas if they've got basic crate training already, that's not going to be their main worry. The main worry is going to be healing. So that's the main benefit to crate training. So all of mine, I've got crate in my living room and in my bedroom. All of mine are used to crates being around. Sometimes I'll put them in there with a treat just for the sake of it. And none of them have an anxiety over a crate. So I wouldn't fence them in there all the time because I don't need to. But they all have, they're all used to a crate. They have no anxiety over it. You know, they're not going to be having a panic attack because they're in a crate, so they can focus on healing if they need to heal and be spaced out. Other things that it comes in handy for is one time the wind blew and it knocked a glass thing off the top of our fireplace, and to just have the crate there and be able to just shove them in quickly and close it just kept them safe. So they do come in handy, but they are comfortable with them. Just watch your biting video, very helpful. Thanks, Tony. Also, my dog is really bad with fireworks. We've tried the sock on the ears, and a few hours before we've tried putting fireworks on YouTube, and he was okay with that. But then real fireworks, he's bad, like shaking and heavy breathing. If he's really bad, you might have to talk to a vet about getting some sort of medication that time of year. You also might want to consider booking a holiday away that time of year if you live in a city. So quite a lot of people I know who have dogs with really severe firework fears, they'll book a lodge in the middle of nowhere and just go there for the nights that fireworks are. Obviously you get caught off guard sometimes, but at least for the main week where it's firework night, so what's that, the 5th of November, around then, or New Year's or whatever, try and get away. But otherwise it sounds like you're doing the best you can. So yeah, you can get ear mufflers, you can try rewarding them. Sometimes it helps if they can see them. So if you pick them up and let them see out the window, that can help. But often if they're fearful of the sound, it's quite difficult to undo that. But it sounds like you're doing the best you can. Or you can go to the vets and they can give you medication to help if you know that there's a firework night coming up. I'm quite lucky where I live. People post like notes for your door if they're going to set off fireworks, because we live near like farmland, so they have to really. But mine just don't care about fireworks at all. It might be one of those things that they grow out of, but yeah. If no one's got any more questions, then I think I will go and edit this video that I did on littermate syndrome. And now I'm thinking I should have done it on recall. I have to do another video, aren't I, on recall? But thanks for giving me ideas. So I need to do one on recall and car training. I'll do those at some point. Don't hold me to it. And yeah, I'll keep this video up for a bit, maybe, in case people want to watch it. And like watch back. Do you guys want me to keep it up so that you can watch back at what I said? Probably, yeah. I'll keep it up. Let me just read these last couple of questions. Dharma says, I have been teaching Twiglet Settle ever since I saw your post. Oh, yay. It's such a useful little command to have. Jules says, hi Lenny, any tips to help with a dog who barks at people and other dogs? I have a video on barking. I would definitely go and watch it so that you can understand why they're barking. Firstly, I'm getting pushed off of this chair, like literally kicked off. They're like, bye mum. Oh my God, can I get back on please? God, rude. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so barking at people and other dogs. So there's a couple of different things to take into account when it comes to barking. Why are they barking? Could they just be barking because they're frustrated because they want to get to the thing? Could they be barking because they're scared? Could they be barking because they're excited? You know, there's so many reasons that dogs bark. And I think, first of all, working that out is really useful. And then there is a video that I did on, which the best one I think for you to watch would be the going to a pub or a public place with a reactive dog, because that's basically what you're talking about, a dog that reacts to people. Watch that video and start with that training. So basically what I talk about in that video is going somewhere quiet-ish where you can keep your distance from other dogs and people, but you can still see them now and then. So not somewhere where you won't see anything. And going to those locations and sitting on a bench far away from them, within miles, ages away, and rewarding lack of reaction. And if you're far enough away from the trigger, as they call it, so the person or the dog, you shouldn't get a reaction. If you do get a reaction, you're too close. You need to move further away. So finding somewhere that you can do that. There's some good places around near me where you can sit on a bench on the street and people will only really walk on the other side. So places like that. But you need to start at home first, obviously. Watch the video. But yeah, so you start teaching the watch command at home or settle command at home, and then you take it outside. But go and watch the video, taking reactive dog in a public place, and the barking video, those videos. Otherwise I'll natter on and won't give you an answer, probably. Please keep it up, I missed the beginning. Will do, will do. Maybe I will come live more often because it's a bit easier, isn't it, than filming an actual organised video. Oh, yeah. I will come live more often, guys. It seems like this was quite a good time to go live. I didn't realise. I've had over 20 people here. Thank you for answering my questions. No problem at all. If you need my help, I'm always on Messenger on Instagram. The best one to come to is Nemo and Crew, because I do answer them there. The other one, I miss a lot of questions. Yeah, go back there, and if you need me to answer stuff, I usually reply over voice notes because typing takes ages. We're thinking of getting a Dachshund puppy, but I'm scared our flat's too small and it will get noisy and the puppy will get too dependent since I'm working from home. Should we wait? I guess it depends. What you have to keep in mind with Dachshunds is that they are sound reactive, a lot of them. So they will bark at things like footsteps coming up stairs, people slamming doors. If you think that your flat block is quite noisy and that they would be very unhappy with a dog that barks, wait until you move to a house. if your flat block has got tons of dogs barking all the time, it's always noisy, then probably it'd be fine. Because it would be about, they're quite snoozy little dogs. So as long as they're being walked and they're getting interaction and you're training them enough, then they'd probably be fine. But keep that in mind. As a breed, they are very sound reactive usually. And so if you think, oh, I'm going to get in trouble if this dog barks, just wait until you live in a house that it doesn't matter if they bark while they're training. I follow you on Instagram, so definitely keep that in mind. Yes, no problem. Feel free and I will voice note you back. I am going to go now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I did not expect to be on here for an hour, but there you go. You never know, do you? Let's say goodbye to the dogs, shall we? So say goodbye, Nemo. I'm going to put him down. Say goodbye, Elsa. Look how fluffy she is since she's been spayed. Look at that. She never used to have this. Since she's been spayed, she's covered in fluff. Sorry, guys. Goodbye, Prada. Say bye-bye. Who else is behind me? Who's here? Oh, where's Norma? Norma, come here. Norma, come. She's too sleepy. You say goodbye, Evie. Oh, she's a good girl. And last but not least, goodbye, Eva. Oh, here comes Norm. Come on, Norma, come here. I want to show you how big. Show them how big you are. Come here, Norma. Come. She's coming. She's just being very slow. Come here. Look how big my puppy is now. She's massive. Look at the length of her. She's huge. Say bye-bye, Norma. I'm a big puppy now. She's bigger than the other dogs, genuinely. Like, she is so big. Look at the length of that dog. Look at the length of that dog. Oh, the puppy. Anyway, see you guys. Goodbye. Let me just check that I haven't missed any questions. Nope, everyone's saying bye. Good, bye.